Hi, Dr. Patrick Gentempo here, and thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel. We have great content in store for you. I'm so excited to be here with you, and let's jump right into it.
Timing is interesting because it can throw a wrench in a certain set of plans, and it can create opportunities in different ways if you have the skill sets to capitalize on that. And at the time, I didn't have any skills. I was still trying to figure it out. So I don't think at the end of the day it would have made a difference either way, because I just didn't know what I was doing. But it was, I think the determination was the biggest piece of the puzzle. And I really made up my mind at that point that I was going to become an entrepreneur. I was basically going to die trying. I'd planned when I couldn't make rent or pay my cell phone bill one month. I was like, okay, I can get a gym membership. I can take a shower there. Maybe I can find an air-conditioned rental unit, and I'll sleep there, and then I'll figure it out. And that's where my thinking was going. There wasn't any plan B or, idea of quitting.
So what's interesting is that a lot of people might have reacted in that circumstance by saying, well, I guess I'm not meant to do this, the way things unfolded, which the meant to be thing is, I always find that to be a confusing premise. But in your case, it was like you weren't dissuaded, by the circumstances. You were still going to work to go through them. What do you think the compulsion was? I mean, because this is really the heart of an entrepreneur, isn't it?
The idea of having a job and giving up on everything I wanted to do in life was infinitely more painful than living in a storage unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it.
That was it, just that simple.
Yeah.
So then what unfolded from there?
Gosh, moved back to San Antonio, got a job briefly in Dallas recruiting surgeons. The biggest piece of advice I ever got was a mentor in that industry at the time, and I'd gone on for 5 years and failed, didn't make a dime for 5 years in a row. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, something's got to change here. And he finally gave me a really good piece of honest advice. And he said, Mike, the reason you're not hitting your financial goals in this industry is because you're not capable of getting the result that you want. You're not that person right now, and you've been chasing these opportunities, if you will. And I put all the responsibility for success on something outside of myself. Either it was the business or the product or the marketing materials, but I thought success was going to come as a result of those things. And it finally dawned on me when he said that. He said, if you want to go make, let's say, $50,000 a month, because that was my big lifelong dream at the time, he's like, you have to become a person who's capable of achieving that. And he's like, you're not right now. You're not. You don't have any mastery of any skill sets whatsoever. And I was like, okay. And it was a big light bulb moment for me. So from that point forward, I dove in headfirst into every book I could find on sales, marketing, lead generation, and copywriting specifically. I was very shy at the time. I hated talking to people in person and selling. It was just the scariest thing in the world for me to do, even over the phone. Right. So I learned how to sell via writing, via copywriting, and it took me about a year and a half of just going into every course I could. And I'd sit down at night and print out successful, sales presentations and letters from some of the greats like Dan Kennedy or David Ogilvy and guys like that. And I would just rewrite them out by hand. And I did that every night for about a year. And I learned that skill set. And all of a sudden, I was like, man, I can really sell something here. And then I taught myself how to use Google AdWords. And now how do I get eyeballs in front of what I've written? And that really changed everything. I applied that skill to my network marketing business at the time, started recruiting people for the first time ever, built a team pretty quickly of about 300 or 400 people, and realized I absolutely hated it. This was like 5-6 years of pursuing this dream, and I finally have it, and I figured it out, and it was miserable. It just wasn't a part of my personality, being a really introverted person.
Right.
So that was another big chapter where it's decision point. Do I give up on this dream of building a business in that industry for 6-7 years now, or do I stick with it? And the solution or the answer that I came up with was, what if I could build this business in a way that I really enjoyed? And for me, the answer was to that was just, how do I get people to call me instead? How do I stop chasing people, and how do I get them to come after me? And there was just a little twist, at the time to doing that, which is providing value. If you put out value into the world, surprise, surprise, you help other people, they want to work with you, and essentially there's this whole attraction marketing philosophy that I happened to introduce to that industry at the time. So this was 2004, 2005. And no one in that world had ever heard of that. They'd never heard of online lead generation. They'd never heard of building a business online. They'd never heard of attraction marketing. And I ended up writing this little 50-page training manual for my team at the time that kind of talked about those philosophies and strategies. And all of a sudden I had phone calls from people all over the world saying, hey, can I sell this manual to my team? Can you make one for our team? So I ended up selling it for 40 bucks a copy online. I'd go down to Kinko's, I'd have 300 printed at a time, little cheap spiral binding for $2-3 bucks a piece. Put up a sales letter for it, put it on Google, and within, I think, 3 or 4 months, I was selling around $50,000 a month worth of that book. And that was an even bigger shift, because now I really felt like I was pursuing my talent and what I was good at, which was teaching. And I'd really discovered that. And so that really turned into an education company where we took the skills, which were brand new of online marketing, and taught it to that industry.
Thanks so much for being here and watching that video. And can I ask you to please subscribe to our channel so you can find out when we're posting new content. You'll be alerted right away when we do. To share this with people you think might benefit from the information, and certainly it helps us if you like the video. So if you like what you just saw, go ahead and hit that like button. And again, thank you so much for being here with me right now.